inspire, empower, grab your girls and soar a little higher, unlock the fire in you, cause real women don't bitch, no, real women don't, 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 real women don't bitch.
Hey, thank you for joining me on the Real Women Don't Bitch podcast. This is your proud host, August Crenshaw, aka Mrs. Raw, Real, and Relentless. I am the #1 advanced mental conditioning specialist for entrepreneurs because building mental muscle is necessary in order to implement successful business strategies. This show has been created for the woman who is not excuse-driven and needs help building a profitable business. I will be interviewing women from various fields who are willing to break the silence on struggles that specifically affect female entrepreneurs. Welcome to a show where I and guest speakers from time to time share our methods that help us beast our business no matter what is going on in our lives. Whether you are an online or brick and mortar business owner, this show is for you. We will hit every angle, personal, professional, and spiritual. Why? Because on any given day, you get hit with shit from a scenario involving one, more, or perhaps all of the above. It all impacts you and your mindset towards your business. I have made it my personal mission to provide a space where we dive deep into the BS we face on a day-to-day basis. Hey, welcome back. It's your girl, August Crenshaw, and I'm not by myself, and you guys know how my vibes are when I do this, and I have a guest with me. Look, ladies, this thing with online entrepreneurship is just like blowing up off the chain. Every time we turn around, somebody else is stepping up their game, getting a piece of this action. And one of the things that you need in order to do that is a good ass website. So I had to bring yours truly back, Miss Samoa. She's back here with us because look, I teach mindset, confidence, sales, all that good stuff, but I am not the website guru. And I know a lot of you're out there, and what you want to do is you want to get a website that's going to be killer, that's going to get you a lot of traffic, that's going to convert into sales. But what you got to do in order to make that happen is not as simple as a pretty font, getting a good picture for an image. There's a lot that goes into creating a badass website. And so Samoa's actually not just here today. I want you guys to get ready, drum roll. She is going to be here with us for 4 episodes during the month of April. She's going to be with us every single Friday to talk about what you need to do in order to create a branded website that sells. So we're going to be breaking down different components every single Friday this month. And when I tell you that this girl knows her stuff, she knows her stuff. And she is not in the business of, oh, just give me your money and I'll make you some pretty shit. She's like, no, if we're going to do this, we got to do it right. So I got the expert up in here. Say hello, Samoa.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
So welcome back again. I'm glad that you took me up on my offer to come and share your expertise with my followers and people that, if they aren't, are going to be your followers too. And so let's just go ahead and get this started. Part 1, we're going to talk about confidence. And before anybody gets distracted, it's like, wait a minute, I thought we were talking about websites. You picked this topic, confidence. Please explain to the people why we're even talking about confidence and what in the hell does it have to do with websites in the first place?
Okay, so I've worked with a lot of online entrepreneurs so far, and I've had the great clients. As we all know, we've had the great clients who make everything so easy for us. And then when we're starting out, we have the clients that just make everything hell and harder than it needs to be, right? So I realized that the common thing that all of my magical, amazing clients have, and the ones that get the best results out of their investment, are the ones with the confidence. They're the ones who have killer confidence that actually helps me pull out their individuality, pull out their unique personalities, and create a visual out of their vision. So the thing that confidence has to do with branded websites that sell is that it's literally the core of creativity and individuality. So if you're not confident in who you are, you're not going to be okay with me taking who you are and putting it in a visual and blasting it to the world, no matter what you want.
Now, that's very basic, but very genius. And so what I'm hearing from you and what I know I observe from a lot of entrepreneurs, because I've worked with a lot of people who are at the beginning and budding, a lot of them want to create the website to be confident. Oh, I can't really get out there and sell, and I can't do these things until I have my website ready. But what I hear you saying is that it goes in the reverse. You have to have the character established first before you can actually build the website. The second thing I heard you talking about, which is really important, is this whole thing of there's great clients that feel really, really awesome. And then there's those other clients where we still love them, but they don't make our jobs easier. Can you think about a scenario? Maybe you pick, maybe where there's someone that you actually turned down and didn't work with them, or one of those clients where you really had to pull a lot from them, and talk about the difficulties with establishing their website. How does that hinder you as a graphic designer? Because this right here, while you're getting that thought in your mind, I want you to really think about this. If you go to someone and they're willing to just say, oh, okay, well, don't worry about this, don't worry about that, I know how to make badass websites, and they're more concerned about you giving them a couple of bullet points, then you've missed the whole point of why you're hiring a graphic designer. I know for a fact from working with you that you really want to understand the symbolism. You want to understand the person, the concept, the programs. You want to foster a connection when you establish logos, anything that you do for anybody. And so you got to stop going out here and spending all this money paying top dollar for websites where there's no connection with the person that you're going to be working with, where they're not trying to know you at the core. So I kind of just filled in a little bit. I wanted to give you a chance to brainstorm something or someone. Talk to the people. Let's make sure they're really connecting the dots with what you're trying to convey about this whole confidence thing.
So the thing is, anybody can build a website. If you have the technical skills, all web designers who either learn DIY courses or they go to school and they learn it, they teach you how to make pretty shit with nice, complicated programs. That's what they teach you. But in our industry, we don't just need a pretty website. We need something that sells. Like, it's an investment that you're making in your business. It's not just something, oh, I need something pretty to make me look professional. It's also, I need something that will connect with my audience and sell to them. So this was actually when I was first starting out, and it was I guess in a way at first I counted it as a failure until I really looked at the situation objectively, and I realized that it wasn't my fault. Like, I really, really tried with this woman, and she came to me, she wanted a website, and she paid and everything, and I started trying to talk to her, trying to set up meetings with her. She would miss them, all that good stuff. Now, this is before I knew how to like field clients and stuff. I was just like, oh, I can help this person. Let me help her. So in the end, I created a website for her, full website, and she didn't like it. Now, usually when a client doesn't like your stuff, you ask them why. You're like, what's wrong? What's going on? What doesn't work? She couldn't tell me why she didn't like it. She just knew she didn't like it. I showed it to other people. They were like, yeah, it's beautiful. It works. And I felt like with the information that I was able to collect from her, which was really hard to dig out in the first place because she wasn't cooperating with that information, I felt like I created a website, and everybody else felt like I created a website that really showed who she was. She didn't like it. She asked for a refund and blah, 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 blah. And from then on, I swore to myself, first of all, to have a contract, because at the time I didn't. And second second of all, to really make sure that I actually connect with my clients and the people that I work with, and to make sure that they will be cooperative in the whole process. Because again, I'm not like other designers. This lady probably worked with other designers who were like, oh yeah, I'll build you a website. What do you want? And she tells them what they want and they'll do it. I have had clients who have told me, I want you to do this, this, and this, and that. And I'll do like something completely different, show it to them, and they're like, I love it. This is not what I asked for, but I love it. So I'm the expert.
Yes.
And I know how to dig out that individuality and that uniqueness. And basically, in order for the client to trust me to do that, they have to trust themselves, and they have to trust who they are for me to dig that out.
Oh, you hit my heart. A person has to trust themselves in order to be able to trust you. And that's the cornerstone of this relationship when it comes to working with a graphic designer. I kind of want to throw a testimonial in here really quick, because my thing is, people that know me, the individuals that I endorse on the podcast, I've worked with you. So I know what your work is like, and I will gladly send anybody to you. But I remember the first project that you and I worked on together. I was doing my first summit, you guys, and for the listeners, it was the Real Talk for Business Mastery Summit. And I had this grand idea. And so I'm thinking, Real Talk for Business Mastery. I had no idea what I wanted the logo to look like. I just knew what I wanted it to convey. I was very confident that this was going to be the dopest, baddest summit that any entrepreneur had ever seen. But in my mind, I was thinking, shapes and, corporate pictures, because it was this big old summit to help entrepreneurs understand all of the processes and steps of entrepreneurship from the very beginning and getting set up, all this stuff. When I talked to you, I didn't realize it until afterwards, but I was saying something like, so this is what I know. I'm going to have this summit, and when I do these interviews, it's not going to be like other people's summit. I'm going to be having these interviews with people, and it's going to be a conversational interview. It's not just going to be, somebody rattling off a bunch of information. And I want this thing to like get to the root and the core of what people are dealing with and what they're going through. And I want them to know this from, A to Z. And I'm just sitting here talking. And then you came up with this whole thing. You did the quote bubbles, and when you first did it, you were like, oh my God, I don't like this. So I don't know if I want to do this. And when you showed me the first thing, my confidence was like, you know what? I get where you're going. I like the bubble concept, but you had did something like with multiple bubbles or something. And I was like, I like the concept, but I dug a little deeper and we had an even more in-depth conversation. And you came back with this funky thing, with this bubble, with this tree where you could actually see the roots and stuff at the bottom. And I was telling you symbolically what it meant to me. And I was like, dang it, that is freaking genius. But you wouldn't have been able to do that if I was like, I'm going to do a summit, and it's going to be for entrepreneurs, and it's going to, help them with their business, and they're going to be better at business. What can you do with that? And so there are a lot of charlatans out there who will take the money because they're like, oh, you're an entrepreneur. And it's like, well, what are you? You're a coach. Okay, well, you're a life coach or business coach. And then they have these templated designs, and they just fill in a little bit of something, and they make a website. And you don't do that. You want to know the person. You want to embody the person on the website. And I love that about you. So for the people that are listening, whether or not you really do or don't have this thing, this killer confidence when you're stepping out there. If they don't have it, though, if they know they don't have it, what are your suggestions for them to do a quality assurance check to do an evaluation on themselves to say, am I ready for this or not? How do I build that confidence if I don't have it there? Start helping them connect some dots.
The thing is that I actually had to go through the journey myself, because I'm a 19-year-old kid, and the way that society raises us, especially as women, is we don't really have all that much confidence in ourselves. Like, we don't really fully trust ourselves. So we often have to consciously build it, because other people aren't going to do it for us. They're more likely to tear us down than to actually build it. So I realized that through my own journey, I was able to, now I'm actually at a point where I have a branded website that sells, because although I had a pretty website before, because I have the technical skill, because I wasn't confident in who I was and I didn't even really know who I was, my website wasn't selling as effectively. So what I realized I had to go through were a couple of steps. It was really simple actually, but it wasn't easy, and the thing. So what I had to do was a lot of self-love. And what I realized a lot of people do is that we don't love ourselves. Like the things that we say to ourselves and how we talk about ourselves just shows how much we really hate ourselves. Because there are things that I would say to myself and about myself that I wouldn't say to a friend or a family member or anybody that I would claim that I love. But I claim that I love myself, and and I would always put myself down. Always, 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 always put myself down. So that's the first thing that I really had to practice. And it's a mindset thing, because you have these constant negative thoughts flowing in saying how much you suck, and you have to challenge those thoughts. And so part of it was just changing the conversation in my head, but it wasn't a big part. You really, once you start changing that conversation, you feel that self-love, and you're like, okay, you start connecting to yourself. You start connecting to who you really are. It's not just the conscious or the part that you're showing to other people, but really the core of your higher self. And I call it my higher self. Sometimes I call it the universe. Like I intertwine it, but I really connect with that, and I really fell in love with that. And you guys heard my last episode about that.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really falling in love with that. And then there's like the external things. So it's like things like healthy habits, like going to sleep, eating right, exercising, like things like that. I started really committing to that. And then it was really the thing that really really dug deep is executing things. So I would set a goal for myself, and then I would reach that goal. And every time you reach that goal, no matter how big or small, you feel that confidence boost, and you're ready to go to the next level. I'm going to give an example. It was actually with you, and I realized that the other day. So this last quarter that just ended, we set a goal. All of us, we set an income goal. While I was talking to you, you told me, oh, why don't you reach deeper? Why don't you go higher with that goal? And I was like, maybe. And you're like, it's possible. You can do it. And I was like, maybe. But I kept it at that. And I'm almost at that goal. Okay, I am almost at that goal. But for this upcoming quarter, I literally doubled my goal. And I know that I'm going to accomplish it, because I looked at my little graph and I'm like, shit, I'm almost there, and we're not even close to the deadline. So it's stuff like that where you're really tracking your goals, setting yourself up for success and actually attaining them, and you're just like, okay, I did this, so I can do that. So every time those really mean thoughts come in saying you're not the shit, you suck, nobody likes you, all of those really mean things come to you, you're like, oh yeah, well, I did this, so fuck you.
Oh my God. I gotta say something, because I love the analogy that you gave with the whole friend conversation thing. You know, you wouldn't look at your friend and say, you know what, nobody's gonna buy your stuff because you aren't good enough. You know, and you don't really think about that, but that is how we talk to ourselves in the beginning before we get that confidence. And that's the gauge. You know, do you sit there and say, yeah, well, you know, people probably aren't really going to tune into what I have to offer. When I do this, they probably aren't going to like it, versus saying, you know what, I'm a badass at what I do. I serve to the highest degree, and anybody who gets an opportunity to work with me is blessed. Completely different conversation. And that's the kind of stuff we would say to our girlfriend. Girl, are you crazy? Whether it's a man or whether they're in business, we'd be like, if he don't want you, it's his loss. You know, those are the kind of things that we say, and we build other people up, but then you don't really think about that negative self-talk. So I love that. It is something that's very easy, but it may not be simple. Ladies, what are you saying to yourselves? And would you say it to your best friend? Would you say it to the woman that you admire? Because if you wouldn't say it to them, you shouldn't be saying it to yourself. And I love that you keep on emphasizing it. For those of you guys that didn't hear her first podcast episode about loving herself, you need to hear that, because that was the core, the foundational thing that just like did an ultimate shift. And I witnessed it in your business when it was like, oh, no. I love me. I totally love me. She still thinks that cheesecake will heal a cold, but nevertheless, you'll work out, you watch how you eat, you're intentional, you set your goals, you do all of these different things. And it's all because your perspective has shifted. Your actions and your words are lining up, and everything about your brand is lining up. And I remember your website. I mean, when I first saw it, you're right, it was so funky. I was like, oh, this is like beautiful. But if I go back and look at your website now and I envision what it was today, I literally feel like I'm talking to Samoa. And when I look at your website, and I know that other people feel like that, because people that you don't know have randomly clicked and got those sessions with you to not even do the website just yet. Some of them have come to you for brand coaching to help them get this confidence and to pull them out and allow you to be their cheerleader and their engineer of their confidence. And so that's absolutely awesome. And then the last part that you were speaking about, and I think I just lost my train of thought, LOL. Because you said, you were saying so much, and I was like, it was so freaking spot on. But I love the whole thing with the crushing the goals. You know, ladies, that's something that you do need to do. I believe in celebrating every freaking win. If you finally have gotten to the point where you don't have to go to the Goodwill anymore and you can actually go buy you something nice once a week, you've accomplished something. If you went from the point of only charging $200 and you realize now you can charge $500 or $800 and you raise your price and you got one client, you celebrated. If you stopped having that bad internal self-talk and you found yourself saying, wait a minute, they don't want to work with me, I'm not mad, they're lost. You're like, wait a minute, there's an energy shift, there's a mindset shift, literally celebrating everything. I love that. And I do remember that conversation about you stretching. And I was like, so you don't think you can do this? And he was like, ah. And yeah, I looked at your goal the other day and I was like, dang it, you caused a ripple. It affected the entire group. Everybody's like, dang, we need to step our goals up. And so I love that, you guys. So you're listening. What are those goals? What are you thinking about doing? Set something small. Build on it. Know that you're the shit. Know that anybody that's going to work with you is going to have an amazing experience, because that's the information that she needs in order to translate it to your website. And I'm going to say this, and I'm going to pass the mic back to you. One of the beautiful things about having someone else do your copy for our website, and this is just my own personal perspective, is that we should be able to cheer for ourselves, but there's something about somebody else cheering for you. There's something about her, you, Samoa, looking at a woman and seeing her beauty and telling her, no, you're beautiful. No, you're smart. No, the work that you do is amazing. Getting away from those relationships that you were talking about where we're not taught to be confident, where we hate on each other, and developing another circle to praise one another. It comes out different. It's still you saying who they are, but there's also something else to it when a person sees the way that you have expressed who they are. And that's something that we never do it as good for ourselves as somebody else does it. It always comes out better, and it brings us to tears when it's the testimonial or someone else. And so I know that that's a gift and a power that you have when somebody goes back and reads the way that you have interpreted who they are, and that you've communicated that. It's freaking amazing. So I just want to say, because you know how I feel about your work. Go ahead. Did you want to say something?
That's actually the tangent I was going on. So there's a connection there. I was gonna say that what I realized throughout this whole journey, with my clients and with the powerful women I'm surrounded by, is that the more, like, the people that surround you, the more that they push you on and they notice the small things, the more confidence it gives you too. So I'm like a pro. Like, I've been doing this since I was probably a kid. It's a gift that I have, and it's seeing the best in people. Like, sometimes it's a flaw, sometimes it hurts me sometimes, but I always see the best in people. So sometimes people don't see how amazing they are, and I can look at them and be like, nah, you're the shit, and here's why you're the shit. And the greatest thing, and what I love saying about myself, is that I transform vision into visuals. So I already know, like, for example, with you, when you were saying everything that you were saying, and you're like, yeah, this is about communication, and it's a roundtable discussion, and it's all about growing. And you're saying all that, and I'm like, okay, growth equals trees. Okay, cool. Conversation bubbles. And I'm like, and she has a really cool, funky personality. So when I did that first logo, it was like a green and a brown. And I was like, no. Like, I was like, I like the concept, but this is not August. This is not it. And so when I created the second round of concepts, and it was these funky colors and the 3D setting and everything, and I saw it, and I was like, yes.
Yeah.
And there was that gut feeling that was like, yep, that's her. There it is. You're good. And we just had to do a few tweaks with the font and everything, but it was perfect, and you loved it. And that's the thing. So I realized that having someone, I mean, obviously always being there for yourself and validating yourself and constantly loving on yourself is the best way to grow your confidence. But having people outside of that bubble doesn't hurt. So I always say this, always look at who's around you.
Yeah.
Recently when I did a post for a promo post recently, and I posted it in the group, in our group, and one of the women, she said, she was like, oh, I love how direct you are with your posts now. And I didn't notice that about myself. I didn't notice that I was more direct. But then I was like, yeah, I'm tired of people wasting my time, and I don't have time for this. So if you want to work with me, you want to work with me. If you don't, you can't afford me, I understand, and that's okay. So I said it like that, and I was like, a couple months ago, I would skirt around the price. I would not tell people how much I charge, because I was afraid that this was going so well and it would automatically change everything. And now I literally tell them, this is my price. If you cannot afford me or you don't want to pay it, don't come to me. I've had people comment on my live videos who I know have the money but don't want to spend the money on me. And that's okay. Like, I don't take it personally, because I have this sense of self-worth that is my own. Yes. It's not about other people or how other people see me. I know what I do, and I know the value of it, and that's that. And that same woman, she came to me for a logo. I gave her the price. She went with somebody else. I saw her logo, and it looks like shit. And I was like, all right. Yeah. All right. And that's okay. So it's all about that confidence, and it's all about having the people around you bring it out of you. So when you have an expert who does it all the time and who does it quickly and easily and effectively, it makes it so easy on you, especially as an entrepreneur who has so much other shit going on. It's a lot better to have someone that you can trust, who knows exactly what they're doing. And they're like, don't worry, I got you. And having that person and trusting that that person has your back and your best interest at heart.
Absolutely. No, I'm with you 100%. And my thing is, it's so easy. It's literally so easy to just fold and say, okay, it's got to be something with me. But, there's this perfect formula that a person has to see your value, and they have to be willing and able to pay for your services. And that's what it is. And I love to point out, whenever I have like this huge disparity, like if I have like my older clients that are crushing it, or if I have my younger clients that are crushing it, I love to put it out there, because you guys heard her. She's a millennial, and she's not an older millennial. She's a younger millennial. And the question then should be, wow, if she's in her zone and she's confident and she's charging what she's charging to do what she does, automatically if that makes you say, man, why can't I charge that much? You already have, a deficiency, with your confidence. And you're like, no, this is just me, and this is what I do. And there's so much freedom in realizing your worth, because this is what I know. You still stay busy in your business. You keep clients. That's not an issue. But I do remember in the beginning of your journey, you just had clients galore. But remember, you also said at the beginning of this podcast, you had some of them that you really loved, and you had some of them that were like really, we'll just say that they made you work harder than others. But whereas now, it's like, man, everybody just feels like they're that perfect client, because the communication is there. You're being real with who you are. You are standing in your zone and your worthiness. And so that's the thing. That needs to be conveyed on your website, ladies. You guys are listening. You need to make sure that whatever you're putting out there, that it's going to attract the right kind of person to you. And that means that, yes, you have to be comfortable. If you want to say higher power or higher self or universe, sometimes that's the thing that can make the difference between whether or not somebody will work with you. But you got to be confident in all aspects of your life. People that follow me, they know that I was raised Christian, but I have some very unorthodox Christian views. And there are some things that I believe in that I know that the church would say, hell no, you can't be believing that and also saying that you love God. But so what? I have my standards and I say where I stand, and people are either going to love me for it or they're not. And I'm not sitting here doing like, oh my God, but I just need to get as many clients as I can. And so maybe I'll just kind of, filter down my message just a little bit. And I'm only going to say Jesus. And, I won't say anything about that number stuff. So they won't think I'm on some woo-woo numerology thing. Just so, you know what I'm saying? I want that to be expressed. I want people to know, because guess what? There's a specific kind of client out there for me who's like, I know this God thing is real, but I don't want to put them in a box of this type of religious belief. And people that mesh with me, like you, they have that same kind of feeling. And so that you're the kind of person that I want to work with. I don't want to work with that other person, and it's okay. And so if you are hoping that you can just get somebody versus the somebodies you're intended for, then that lets you know that you're not ready, to pay top dollar for a website. If you need to get out there and get in the trenches and just get down and dirty and maybe have a couple of clients that you don't really like, so that you can get out of your identity crisis and start, being who you are. So let's kind of fast forward just a little bit. We're talking about all of this stuff. I just kind of went on like a little mini rant. Let me bring it back. So how does somebody know when they're ready to do this whole thing with actually creating a branded website? When do they know they're ready to take that nesty plunge?
I would say when you're ready to feel the fear and do it anyway. I think that's the best way that's one of the best ways to describe it. Because investing in yourself is always scary, especially when you're investing at a higher level than you usually are. So your brain just wants to pull the emergency brake. It's like, nope, don't do this. But because you've been working on yourself, you've been working on your confidence, and you've been working on that gut feeling that tells you that you're ready, you'll know, yeah, I know that this is scary, but I'm going to jump anyways. Like, fuck it. Yeah. I'm going to jump and I'm going to soar anyways. So I think that's the best way to describe it. That my top clients, none of them, they just met somebody on the internet. Yeah, sure, they looked at her website and they connected with it. They clicked with it. They looked at my content. They looked at my videos. They met with me and they like me. They feel good about me. But it doesn't mean that there's no fear. It doesn't mean that, okay, oh my, you want what? You want $5,000? You want $7,000? Whoa. Like, it doesn't mean that there's no fear that tells them, oh yeah, okay, yeah, sure, $5,000. That's okay. I'll just send a stranger $5,000. Like, that's not something that you want to do. But when you know that you have that fear, but you still trust that something good is going to come out of it, like, in your gut that something good is going to come out of it, that's when you know that you're ready to invest in a branded website that sells. So that's the biggest thing, because when you're able to trust that, then you're also able to trust the process. So you're able to trust that expert, and you're able to say, okay, she knows what she's doing. Like, let her lead me through this, and I know that in the end, I'm going to have this. Like, you know what you want, you're willing to go after it, and you're willing to trust that you know what you want and that you deserve it. Because I think that's the biggest thing. A lot of the clients that have either turned me down because I'm too high, like I charge too much or whatever, usually they don't believe that they deserve the best. Because I'm going to say I'm the shit. I really am. I have looked at, I've been really mindful about it lately when I've been working on websites for my clients. One thing I realized in my portfolio, looking through my portfolio, is that none of my websites are the same. And that's because although I attract a similar caliber of clients, they're all individual, unique personality.
Yes.
So none of my websites look the same because they each represent the unique individual. Whereas when I'm looking at other designers' websites who charge the same price as I do, and their work is amazing, it's beautiful, it's great, but they all have a signature. They all have something. It's like you can tell it was designed by this person.
Right.
The Inked by Samoa signature is that there is no signature. Like, it's that person. So when I realized that shit, I'm fucking priceless. Like, you can't, there's no amount of money that could really pay for that. So whatever price that I charge that I feel like is worth paying for my service, then that's that. So you really have to think about whether you believe you deserve it. You believe that you deserve something that's a true representation of yourself, and that really automatically, instantly connects with the right people. So whether you believe you deserve something that represents you, and you believe that you deserve the perfect, ideal clients for you, because that is what.
You know, I want to use this analogy, and I know I like to use analogies sometimes that kind of go left field because I really want to connect the dots. You know, I remember my first car that I bought. I thought I had it going on because I bought me a red Dodge Neon. It was a 97 Neon and I bought it in 97, August of 1997. And I was like ecstatic. I was head over heels, but that was it was a low budget, you know, 4-cylinder car. And I was excited about that. The next vehicle that I bought, it was a Chevy Cavalier. And I love my Cavalier. But what happened as I moved on and I grew, then the next vehicle that I bought was a Jeep Cherokee. And there are certain, you know, luxuries that come with having that mini SUV that come with a Cavalier. Even though they don't make those anymore. But the point is, whatever kind of version of vehicle is that they make now like that, I don't want that. And there's a steeper price tag that goes with having a Cavalier. And then I've also had a Denali. I don't want to go backwards. I don't want those other vehicles. And so my sight for my next vehicle is something that's completely different. And guess what? The price tag on that is different too. And so you guys really have to think about, what is it that you're getting? And like you said, what do I deserve? Do you want someone who is already, you know, wrestling with their own value, trying to just throw some stuff on the template for you to be able to say that they created something so that they can make some money for the month because they're scared as shit that they're not going to be able to pay their rent? Or do you want someone who's confident and it's like, I don't have to have your business. If we connect, I want you to know that I want your business because I want to make you shine. That's what people get when they work with you. They don't get somebody who's desperate to make a quota, that somebody's just like, I just got to do something. They get an individual who's like really concerned about who they are. And so I want to make sure that they're connecting the dots, that you're getting the special additions, those extras, you know, that you want that screen, you know, you want those different automated responses, you want the different all that technology. If that's what you want, you do have to understand that it comes with a cost. So do you want that designer who also has the ability to coach you through and pull you through whatever it is that you need to get out of you? Like you said, going through your process. People don't just come to you and say, oh, I want a website, like you said, and they can't say, these are the bullet points, bam, bam, bam. You're limited. If you have bullet points, that's because you read a couple of blogs and looked at a couple of YouTube videos and somebody told you that every website, you should have a contact page, you should have a bio, this should come first, and this should be here, and this should be there. And you're not, that's restrictive. That's not allowing you to come out. And so that's what, once again, that's what they're getting with you. And I love the fact that you say there's that signature thing. You know, people can't look and say, oh yeah, Samoa probably did that, because she has a tendency to always like use these pastels. You know, pastels are her things. I notice she uses a lot of florals. Everybody goes to her for that look. That's not you. Almost everybody's site has that same, you know, skinny header at the top that goes all the way across the screen. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. You can look at certain people's websites in the industry and you're like, okay, we know that all of those people went there. But I've seen some of your logos and I've seen some of your websites, and you know, I've seen the funky stiletto that looked like it was actually a picture of a heel, but that's not what it was. And I've seen the funky cartoon caricatures that you've made, you know, for individuals. And then you've done more than just the Real Talk for Business Mastery Summit for me. You did something funky with the Real Women Don't Bitch Summit thing, the way you had the bubbles and you crossed the colors and the sisters intertwined and having conversations. You do bright and funky colors, you do brash and hard, you do modern, you do contemporary, you know, you do standard and professional. You literally do whatever is unique about that person. It's like you take a person and you make a portrait of them on their website, you know, and that's what I love about what your work and what you do. And that's why I promote you so heavily, because, you know, I don't like cookie cutter BS. Yes, there are foundational things that you need to have in place in order to have a functional website. But what in the world does somebody have to do to give it that unique you look? You got that down to a freaking science. So people, where are you at? How confident are you? I want to encourage you, and I'm going to let you, you know, do your own spiel yourself. But like I said, because I've worked with you, I can speak on this so highly. Where are you at with your confidence? Where are you at with your website? If you are badass at what you do, you know you need a website, but you do waver in certain areas, I want to encourage you to still reach out to Samoa. I want you to go to her website and I want you to reach out to her, because unlike some other graphic designers as well, you also are a branding coach. You can help the people work through this. And matter of fact, I'd like you to give the testimonial. I'm trying to remember the one client who was just like nervous as crap. She was like borderline confident, and you took her through some sessions, and I think it was like in 3 months. Not only did she come out and she was confident and had a killer website, I think she just got like some like crazy mad sales and a bunch of stuff happened to her. And I want people to hear what this experience was like, because you may need to be coached through how you convey this. Because if you just sit around and you think for yourself, this time next year, you'll still be thinking. And I don't want you to do that. So take the mic, share the story, and then replug them again and tell them how they get to you to seek out your services.
Okay, so there are two people that every time I think about those two clients, I like want to burst out into tears because I'm so proud of them. So there was one, and this was the first time I actually started incorporating coaching along with my web design packages. And she came to me about a completely different business idea, a different business that she started. And I was like, she said she wanted my help with it to grow it and blah, blah, blah. And then she told me about this hobby. Like, we were just having a conversation. She told me about this hobby that she had. And it was something that she started a while ago. She does it every Christmas and da, 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 da. And it was a great idea. It was a pretty unique, beautiful idea. And then I'm like, well, why are you asking me for help for this generic? I think she was a VA, a virtual assistant. I was like, do you like being a virtual assistant? And she was like, well, it brings in money and it pays the bills, so I don't mind it. And I was like, do you want to do that in 20 years? And she said no.
No.
So we really dug deep into that, and we dug deep into why she wasn't focusing on the passion project that she had going on, and she was just afraid it wasn't going to make her money. And I was like, well, fuck that. We're going to make you some money with this. And so it wasn't 3 months. I think it was 3 sessions. I think it was.
Yeah, I remember because we were in a group together. Yes.
Yeah, it was about 6 weeks later. We're like beasting this out. We're like throwing ideas around. We're putting stuff together. And then she gets the confidence. Like, she gets super excited about it. She gets the confidence, and she reaches out to a subscription box because it's a product-based business. So she reaches out to a subscription box, a big one, and she's like, oh, I just reached out to them. We'll see what they say. And they emailed her back, and they said they wanted her in their February box. This was in October. And they said they were on it 10,000 units of her product for her February box. And she was like, holy shit. Like, she was like, well, I'm going to contact all the subscription box services. And so I think this year, I mean, we stopped working together, but I do check up on her once in a while. I think this year she's in 8 months out of the 12 months of this year in a different subscription box. And some of them she has ongoing contracts with them.
Yeah.
So that's one example. And then the second example was actually somebody else who, she found me through a group. She went on my website. She bought my stuff because she felt like we made an instant connection, even though I didn't talk to her. And her confidence issues were horrible clients. She was a service-based business owner, and her clients were just the worst. Like, she had some good clients, but most of them were just the worst. And she didn't know how to stand up to them or how to charge what she was worth and all that stuff. And it was also a website issue. And you know how people come to you and they're like, oh, well, maybe if I have a better website, I'll attract better clients. And that's true. But when the shitty clients come to you, can you say no to them? And that was her problem too. So we worked through that confidence stuff and through the coaching. And maybe 3 months later, I think she was 3 months later, she comes back to me and she says, oh, this is the best season I've ever had with clients. All of my clients have been amazing. There was one client that I said yes to, but she ended up doing this, that, and that. And I was just like, screw this.
Yeah, she was the one that she said I fired.
I fired her. I fired her as a client, and I just don't want to work with her anymore. And then we looked at her prices, and she had been stagnant for a whole year while she was in her business. And I think it was tripled.
Yeah, I remember it was triple.
She tripled her prices just like that. And she was still getting clients, and she was actually enjoying her work. Because she said in that season, she usually gets a lot of clients, but she always feels burnt out. But she told me that I'm always excited for the next session. And I was so proud of her. I cried. But yeah, and she has this website now that attracts the people that she wants perfectly. They connect with her, and those that don't want to work with her, or the people who don't want to pay her, she doesn't even have to deal with them anymore. She doesn't even have to even say no to them or fire them, because she's not attracting them at all. So It's crazy how the right energy and the right website paired together can really up-level you in your business. The biggest thing is that it does it quickly. Like, it's not something you have to wait for. It's something that comes in the next couple weeks, sometimes 3 months, at the most 6 months. If you have the right energy and the right website, you couple that together and you create magic.
Absolutely. So tell them where to find you. Yes, the links are on the realwomendon'tbitchpodcast.com website, and if whatever platform you're on, all of that stuff is there, but still just let them know where they find you.
You guys can find me at intbysamoa.com. It's excuse me, it's IN as in Nancy, KD by Samoa, SAMOA.com.
Yes.
You guys can check out my blog because I have some really great info there. And you can also subscribe to my list because I do have a great Pinterest inspiration guide to help you really dig deep into who you are so that you're finding good inspiration for your website. So you guys can start with that and all that stuff. And if you are interested about getting to the next level with a branded website that sells, I am currently for this quarter taking on 7 people. I have 6 slots left for now. Yeah. I don't know if that'll change by the time this episode airs, but I have 6 slots left. So you guys can go ahead and book a website strategy call with me, and we can talk some more about how I can help you.
Absolutely. So you guys, this is just the beginning. Remember, this is part 1 of creating a branded website that sells. So where are you at with your confidence? If you are confident and you know you're ready to go and pull the trigger, reach out to her. If you're wavering a little bit and you want to get coached through it and you want to see what that looks like, reach out to her. I highly endorse anything and everything that she does. We will be back with part 2 next Friday. So tune in. As always, Samoa, your spirit, your energy, your wisdom, expertise, all of that is just always off the chain anytime we do any kind of interview together. So thank you so much for coming back and blessing the listeners.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so you guys do the doggone things. Real women don't bitch. We get shit done. Get out there, beast your business, and I will see you later. Bye.
Thank you for joining me today. Remember to cultivate a mindset that is biased towards taking action. No bitching, whining, or complaining. Here, our mantra is, real women don't bitch, we get shit done. See you next week as I continue to bring you what you need to keep your head in the game and beast your business. Don't forget to hit subscribe and leave us a 5-star review. Would you like a specific topic covered? Have a question you would like answered live? Then head on over to realwomendon'tbitchpodcast.com. Subscribe to my email list, hit me up, and I got you. Interested in being a guest speaker? You walk the walk? Then you can sign up on the website too. This is your #1 advanced mental conditioning specialist for entrepreneurs, Mrs. Raw, Real, and Relentless. Signing out. Deuces.
Inspire, empower, grab your girls and soar a little higher. Unlock the fire.